As I'm sure many of you have realized before, our systems are flawed as a society. We have flaws in our education system, in our healthcare system. So I feel like what is not taught in schools currently is how you learn. So they teach you subjects like math, science, language arts. They have extracurriculars as well, but they never actually teach you how to learn. And so I feel like it is very important to understand how you actually learn. So how to use your brain. Like how does this thing that we have here that I'm sure you've heard is like the most powerful supercomputer in the whole planet. Well, how do you actually go about using that? I'm going to give you first a little bit of a background on myself. For the past, I think since I was about like 18 or 19, I've been obsessed with studying the top 1% of people. I wanted to know what made them great. I was always like just mesmerized by greatness. And I'm speaking specifically about the people that, when you assess all areas of their life, they're well rounded individuals. It doesn't matter to me if you have billions of dollars and you don't understand how to keep a family together, you can't have a faithful relationship, you have addiction problems, but you have money. It doesn't mean that just because you have money, you're successful. For me, when I look at the top successful people, the ones that I am speaking of and the ones that really stand out to me are the ones that are successful in all the major areas of life, and that being having a successful family. So, building good relationships down and up of their family tree. So, having good relationships with, their parents and their grandparents if they happen to still be around, and their elders, as well as building a good relationship across and down. So then they have to have like a good romantic relationship. They have to have, and be in good standings with their partner. They have to have that functional relationship there, and then it stems down into their children and the relationship that they're able to build with them. So the first element of success is having a successful family, both up and down in the family tree. Second element of success is having your finances in line. Money isn't everything, but it is a tool to get you everything that you need. If I didn't have money right now, I wouldn't be able to be sharing my thoughts. I would be naked, I would be cold, I would be outside, I would be hungry, and eventually, if I kept on not having money, I would die. You can't survive without it. So you need to have your finances in line. And I believe that they need to be abundant to the point of it not being a constant thought. I remember there was a point in my life where it was literally a worry that would consume me every single day, and I couldn't get the stress of money off my mind. Finances should be just a disposable tool that you have an abundance of, and then you're able to use that to manifest your desires. The next thing that I believe that you have to have in line to be a successful person is your fitness. So you need to have a healthy body. If I was constantly thinking about how I'm in pain right now, I am not able to be fully present here. So I need to have my health in line and also have a body that works well and that I'm proud of. I need to also have that confidence. If I hated the way that I looked, I would never turn on this camera. I would not even be caught dead being in front of this camera if I hated the way that I looked. So I believe if you are fully clothed, if you're naked, if you're ready for your day, if you're not ready for your day, you should have a level of confidence there that's just always present. And there should be a level of health and enjoyment with your physical self. Fourth area is faith. It is the fourth F bomb that you need to have to be a successful person. There is a higher power. You are not the largest being on this planet. You're not the biggest thing that exists. And you need to have a connection with this higher power. You need to have a connection with whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it source, if you want to call it God, if you want to call it the universe, if you want to, you know, just start at a base level and understand that there's energy, like whatever name you give this thing, it doesn't matter. You just have to maintain a good relationship with it, because this will do things that you don't have the power to do. I remember there being this kind of like analogy, but just also like comparison given to me once. And it was like, do you realize that you don't even comprise like 1% of the earth? Like the space, if I turned around and spun in a circle right now, I cannot see 1% of the earth. So this energy, this universe, this God, whatever you want to call it, is taking control and has control over like everything else. So you know how sometimes you have like these crazy coincidences and then everything just happens to align and then everything just ends up working out? Like God has got the other fucking, I mean, more than 99%, because you don't even got 1%. And I believe that you have to have a good relationship with this, because it takes away fear. It takes away the feeling of being alone and feeling like you're in this like battle of life alone. You're always connected. You have someone to turn to that has more power than you do, so you can take your fear and transmute it into confidence and faith, and you get assurance that things are going to be working out for you. And so when I say that I study the top 1% of people, I'm assessing all of these areas of their life and making sure that they're sound and intact, because I don't ever want to emulate someone that has like a part of the life that I want, but then has a part of the life that I never ever want. Because then by emulating that person, I might end up emulating the part of their life that I do not want. So before I choose a mentor or I choose someone that I'm going to listen to wholeheartedly, because I can't just half-ass things. It's either I listen to or I don't. And if you have half of your life that's fucked up, quite frankly, I want nothing to do with it, because it might rub off. So I study the top 1% of people that have every area of their life in order. And they said that the most important thing to do was to learn how you learn. So imagine this. You can control what programming goes into your supercomputer. If you understand how your brain works, it means that you can utilize this tool that's been given to you to its maximum capacity. Therefore, you must understand how to program this computer for it to bring you the result that you want. And I have been doing a ton of research on this over years and years and years. What I have come to find out is simply this. The brain is similar to just imagine like a square with a bunch of trees. And when you're a child, there's nothing in your brain. You don't really know much. You kind of just go on instinct. So there are like a few instinctual things that are present here, but it's just like you sleep, you shit, and you eat. Like that's all a baby does. You don't come here knowing a ton. And over time, what happens is there's these pathways that are starting to be made through this forest. It's the same concept with your brain. You have a bunch of neurons, and when neurons fire together, they wire together. So to build habits and to build knowledge and understanding in your brain, you need to be able to have pathways through this forest. So when you are looking to learn something new, you must understand that a pathway must be built. And if ever you've gone out in the woods, cutting down trees and grooming a trail is not easy. It is very difficult to make a pathway in the woods. And that's why when you start out on any type of journey, I'm just going to use fitness because obviously that's why we're here. So when you start out on your fitness journey, you have to understand that you don't have any of these neural pathways built in your brain. You don't have any ways through the forest. Your pathways, like, they're just not built. There's a bunch of fucking trees, there's a bunch of shit in the way. And you have to understand that you are starting with a square of trees, no paths. You're starting from ground zero. It is going to be difficult when you start off to attain these goals because you have to become the type of person that goes to the gym every day. You have to become the type of person that follows their meal plan every day. You have to become the type of person that thinks in a way that attracts success in sticking to the habits and the routines that you need to attain these goals. That's your first goal, honestly. Your goal is not to attain the result. Because when you attain the result, it's like drinking water. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. I have all of these goals, and the moment that I hit them, I'm like, fuck, that's awesome. So my next goal is, and like, there's like, I probably take like 3 seconds, and I'm like, wow. And then I'm like right on the next thing. So you've got to enjoy the journey to build this type of person that you're becoming. Because if you're not enjoying the journey, you are never going to enjoy the success, and you're actually going to sabotage yourself and then just end up going right back to the way that you were. So you must enjoy building these neural pathways in your brain and understand how you learn. When you understand these types of things, then you're actually able to build habits and build the type of person needed to attain the results that you desire. And then when you become that type of person, the results are just a byproduct of your way of life.